All right, I was going to go through an entire example of a given that problem with probability and contingency tables, and we'll just go through it real slow, make sure you understand. So it's here is an example of the frequencies of sales by customers' gender, so male and female, and the type of the computer that they purchased, whether they purchased just a regular PC or a MacBook computer. So male or female PC and Mac, and then the totals for each column and row. Um, so conditional probabilities are the probability that event occurs given that another event has already occurred. So that's what we're talking about here. So given that a customer is female, what is the probability that she'll purchase a Mac? And then I like to always write that out. So let's look at an example. This is the way you write it. It'll be the probability of something given that something. So the probability of A given that you already know B. Okay, so let's look at this example and walk through it very slowly. What is the probability that the purchase will be a Mac, given that the customer is already known to be a female? So what you'll need to do for every given that problem is make sure you write it in this format, the probability of Mac, straight up and down bar, given that you already know they're female. They could word it a little differently. So if it's worded differently, put it in this format, blank, given that blank. Let me put that here. So you make sure it's in this format, blank, given that blank. So make sure it's in that format, and then you will put it in this format right here. So what is the probability that it'll choose a Mac, given that we're only pulling it from the females? It's basically what we're doing here. So once you do that, then what I want you to make sure you do is, and I would have liked for this to have been green just because I like to make my things be consistent. So what you do is it's going to be the probability of the first and the second divided by the probability of the second thing here. So I've color coded them in pink and green. So just as soon as you've rewritten it in this format, then you'll rewrite it in this next format, probability that it's a Mac and a female, and then you're going to divide it by the probability that it's that back side there on your given that female. So hopefully that makes sense. I can actually, you could write it out like that every time, and I can even grab an arrow and show you that that goes to that, and female goes to both here. So if you're having problems with it, it may help you to just kind of map it out like this. Okay, so you'll do that every time. So set it up. Once you set it up, put the first part, Mac in this case, and put the second part here and here. Same thing every time. All right, let's make sure you know how to find those. Let's make sure you know how to find the probability that you have a Mac and a female. So what you do is you go Mac and go down to the females, and you just kind of do a crossbar there, and you can see right there that where they cross is a Mac and female. There are 87 females that use Macs, and since it's a probability, you always put it over the whole amount, so that's going to be 223. So you can see here Mac and female. So again, I got a Mac. The females, there's 87 out of the total of 223, and you're going to divide that by the probability that there's female. So you go to the total number of females is 117 over the total of everything, which is 223. So if you're just having trouble with this part, then hopefully you already understood the and problems and then the plain old probabilities. But if not, that is how you work those. So let me show you one more time. Mac and female. So go to Mac and female, find the cross there. Where the crosshairs meet is 87 over your total of 223. And probability of female, go get the total number of females over the total number of total everything. So 117 over 223. That's a division problem. If you'll remember, when we learned how to divide fractions, we learned to keep change to multiplication and flip the fraction. So keep this one, change it to multiplication and flip the fraction. Also with fractions, we learned that you can cross cancel or cancel top and bottom. So I cross canceled the 223 and the 223, and that simply leaves me the 87 over 117. A trick there is just to say your answer is going to be whatever the top divided by the top is. That can kind of be a trick there. And when you divide those, you get 0.7358, and that rounded to 4 decimal places, which is most everything rounded to, it'd be 0.436 because the 8 bumps the 5 up to a 6. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Go back through this if it doesn't. And then what I want you to do is I want you to try this one. And if you don't get an answer of 0.6875, then I want you to send me your work so that I can check it and see what you're doing wrong. What is the probability that the purchaser is male given that they purchased a PC? Okay, so you're going to want to set it up. Probability of blank. I don't want to give you the answer here. Given that blank. So you're going to set that up for yourself and check your answer again. If you don't get the right answer, then if you would please email me, I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much.